Picture yourself 12,800 years ago. I don't want you to just read about this. I want you to feel it. You are living it. The world is finally, painstakingly shaking off the grip of a brutal ice age that has lasted for 100,000 years. For generations, your ancestors have known nothing but ice and tundra. But now, the great glaciers are in retreat, and the world is being reborn. Forests are expanding, great rivers are carving new paths, and herds of mammoth and bison roam vast greening plains. Humanity itself is on the verge of a new dawn. The air is getting warmer, life is returning. It feels like the first true spring the world has seen in an eternity. And then, in the blink of a cosmic eye, everything changes. The warmth doesn't just fade, it's violently stolen from the air. The sky darkens, not with clouds, but with a persistent, chilling haze. A bitter, world-altering cold descends, plunging the northern hemisphere back into a deep freeze that would last for over 1,000 years. The Great Thaw stops dead in its tracks. For decades, scientists have looked at the evidence of this cataclysmic reversal etched into ice cores and ancient sediment, and they've all asked the same haunting question: what happened? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most controversial and fascinating theories in Earth's history. The idea that a cataclysmic comet strike didn't just change the climate, it changed the course of life on Earth forever. And new evidence, pulled from the muddy depths of the ocean floor, is reigniting this fiery debate. This sudden, mysterious cold snap is known to science as the Younger Dryas. It's one of the biggest climate puzzles of all time because of its sheer speed and intensity. For years, the leading theory was something called the Meltwater pulse hypothesis. The idea is that as the Great Laurentide ice sheet melted, a colossal freshwater lake, a body of water called Lake Agassiz, bigger than all the modern Great Lakes combined, suddenly burst its icy banks. This unleashed a deluge of cold, fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean. We're talking about a flood of unimaginable scale. This flood was so massive that it literally shut down the vital ocean currents, what scientists call the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation. Think of it as a planetary heating system, a great conveyor belt that transports warm water from the tropics to the north. The sudden influx of cold, less dense fresh water effectively threw a wrench in the gears. The heat was turned off, and boom, a mini ice age. It's a solid theory, but it has its own problems, like scientists not being able to definitively agree on the exact path this megaflood took to the sea. But in 2007, a new, far more explosive theory entered the ring: the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. This theory proposes that the Earth was hit by fragments of a disintegrating comet or asteroid, not one giant impact that would leave a telltale crater, but thousands of airbursts and strikes across the globe, each with the force of a major nuclear weapon. The resulting inferno would have torched entire continents, creating wildfires on a scale we can barely comprehend. This would have thrown so much soot, ash, and water vapor into the atmosphere that it literally blocked out the sun, creating a cosmic winter that starved the planet of light and warmth. This wasn't just a climate event, it was an extinction-level event. The sky would have rained fire. The shock waves would have flattened forests. It was a planetary reset button, potentially responsible for wiping out dozens of species of megafauna, like the mammoth and saber-toothed cat and the mysterious Clovis people of North America. It's an incredible, terrifying story, but it has one major problem. There's no crater, no giant smoking hole in the ground to prove it happened. Because of this, proponents have had to become geological detectives, hunting for microscopic clues buried in thin layers of the Earth's soil. And that's where our new study comes in. A team of researchers, led by archaeologist Christopher Moore, decided to look somewhere new, somewhere far from the potential contamination of ancient human settlements or shifting landscapes. They looked deep beneath the waves, pulling up long tubes of sediment, veritable time capsules, from the seafloor of Baffin Bay near Greenland. They drilled down through layers of mud and silt that have settled undisturbed for millennia, and right in the layer corresponding to the beginning of the Younger Dryas, 12,800 years ago, they found it. A concentrated band of geochemical fingerprints, a smoking gun pointing to a cosmic impact. They found the microscopic shrapnel from a cosmic collision. First, tiny particles rich in platinum, an element that's like a calling card from space, rare on Earth's surface but common in asteroids. Second, microscopic spheres of melted rock and glass, called microspherules, tiny droplets that were flash melted in a fiery explosion and then rained down across the globe. These are exactly the kind of impact proxies you'd expect to find in the aftermath of a comet exploding in the atmosphere. But here's the most exciting part, the twist that could unite both theories. The study's lead author suggests we might not have to choose between a flood and a comet. What if the comet impact was the trigger for the meltwater pulse? Think about it. A series of massive explosions over the North American ice sheet would have been more than enough to destabilize it, to shatter the ice dam and unleash the catastrophic flood that scientists have long searched for. The comet didn't just freeze the world with its dust, it may have also broken the dam, delivering a devastating 1-2 punch to the global climate. But, as with any good scientific mystery, the debate is far from over. An extraordinary claim requires extraordinary proof, and this is where the scientific process really shines. Not everyone is convinced, and this is where the battle of ideas begins. Outspoken critics, like physicist Mark Boslow, remain deeply unconvinced. He argues that the materials found in the core aren't necessarily from space, and that there are more ordinary Earth-based explanations. For example, could volcanic eruptions, or even just the natural concentration of minerals over time, create similar signatures? He believes the impact hypothesis is a dramatic, headline-grabbing solution to a problem that might have a much simpler, less explosive answer. So, we're left at a fascinating crossroads. On one hand, we have a growing body of intriguing microscopic evidence from multiple sites, now including the bottom of the ocean, all pointing to a violent cosmic event that coincides perfectly with the climate collapse. On the other, a healthy and necessary dose of scientific skepticism that demands more definitive, unambiguous proof. What this new study does is add a crucial and very heavy piece to the impact side of the scale. It takes the evidence off the land where it could be questioned and puts it into the deep ocean, making it that much harder to ignore. It suggests that the sky literally fell and the consequences shaped the world we live in today. But what do you think? Are we looking at the aftermath of one of the most significant cosmic events in human history? A day when a celestial visitor plunged the world into a 1,000-year winter and may have wiped out iconic Megafauna and the Clovis people of North America? Or is the truth something less dramatic, but just as powerful, hidden in the slow, grinding mechanics of our own planet? So what's your verdict? Based on what we've seen, are you on Team Comet, Team Flood, or do you think the impact was the trigger that pulled the plug on the ancient world? I'm genuinely curious to see your theories, so drop them in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into our planet's mysterious past, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the unknown. Thanks for watching.